Tea time. We have a very fun-filled tea time today. One, because I'm breaking a fast and I'm very excited about it. I'm having a miso soup, doctored up in my own way with a nice egg and some turkey meat and an avocado and these amazing pickled radishes. Babes, what are you having?
Ground turkey, mushrooms, zucchini, lettuce that tastes like it should be on a burger, and Valentina, 2 bottles of ketchup, and a green tea. Very happy. Very hungry, but not as hungry as you. Oh my god, the first taste. Is it so good? Food is special.
That egg melted inside of my miso soup in a way that kind of made it creamy.
The sesame oil smells so good.
The sesame oil in here. Mm-hmm. There's some ground turkey meat that she didn't put in her turkey salad, so I'm putting in mine. It is heaven. I'm gonna let you start because I'm eating. You guys, the fasting life is real, and refeeding is amazing.
I think we have a pretty interesting topic for our conversation today.
Tell me all about it.
Our conversation today is about body image, which actually works really interestingly with your whole fasting life and avocado.
Oh my god, that avocado. Okay, body image. Let's start with you, babes, because you've had a journey your entire life with body image that actually is a lot deeper than mine.
Well, I have something called body dysmorphia disorder, which means I don't see my body accurately. It's been a challenge for me in my life because I've ended up seeing things looking back at me that have made me feel really self-conscious or embarrassed or uncomfortable in my own skin. But it's also a real psychological issue. I've had to learn how to accept myself, try and see myself in a more realistic way, see myself in a more compassionate way, and just chill the fuck out about what I look like, honestly.
What age do you think that started for you?
Oh my gosh, I say 12. I always say 12. I don't know if it really is, but I think around 12. I remember I started junior high at the age of 12, and I remember having this moment where I saw some of the kids in my grade who looked so mature and so developed, and I was still kind of this awkward, frizzy-haired kid who hadn't grown into her features or anything like that. And I remember looking around thinking, oh my gosh, these people are the same age as me. That's nuts. And having a real realization in terms of what I actually looked like. I don't feel like prior to that I had thought about my image as much. And that is where things started to shift for me, and I started trying to get thinner and work out more and compensate for my face. So it's actually less about my body, it's more about my face.
What's the matter with your face? I love your face.
No, that's where I see most of my dysmorphic self, where I'm my face could be prettier type of thing. But I don't know. What about you? How have you seen your self-image?
It's interesting because when I was younger, I knew that I wasn't the same size as most of the people in my age bracket. I knew that I was a little bit bigger. And other people definitely made sure that I understood that. And then there was a moment in my adult-ish-hood where I lost a whole bunch of weight, right? I was bobblehead skinny. And I started attracting that same disorder that you have, the
body dysmorphia?
Body dysmorphia. I would look into the mirror and be like, this is not my body. I'm much bigger than this. My understanding of my body is always going to be a little bit on the thicker side. Not obese, not unhealthy, just not bobblehead skinny for me. It just doesn't work for me in my sense of who I am. So then when I started gaining weight again, I started feeling more like myself. And then I actually tipped the scales too high.
So your body dysmorphia, though, it doesn't really sound like you had body dysmorphia. It sounded like you saw yourself in your thin body and you're like, this isn't me. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Not that you were... No, body dysmorphia is usually
Opposite of
very
what-
thin people see themselves and they think, oh, I'm so fat. And then you're looking at them and you're like, you're so thin. I can recognize where I am slender. Like, I do have a small upper body, but this is genetic. Like, I don't work hard on this. And I can see where my waist is tiny. Like, I'm not distorted there. My distortion is in my
super
face. So I'm trying to be mindful with my words, I guess. You know, I see a very large face. I see a less attractive face than others have said that they see in me. And that also has kept me in feelings of such negativity that I used to like not go to school because I was so embarrassed to see another person and have a conversation or make eye contact. I used to, you know, really hide myself because of how strongly I felt about my appearance when ultimately it wasn't really based in reality. So that's what body dysmorphia is. Like, the technical definition of body dysmorphia is one who sees themselves in a way that is
They are
untrue.
actually not, yeah.
So for you had more of just like, yo, I see I'm like bobblehead skinny and that doesn't feel good. But you
True.
weren't distorted in you've actually said that your body dysmorphia goes opposite, where you'll be really overweight
And I think
you're
I'm
thin.
skinnier than I am. So maybe that's where I'm sick. Because I'll be like, I look bomb. And people are like, you're a size 20. I'm like, huh? I look at least a size 6. I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, I guess that's where that's there. You know, it's interesting to hear that from you because it makes me ask the question, who did you talk to?
About this issue? Mm-hmm. My mom, probably. I didn't really confide in my friends about it. It was a really isolating thing for me because it didn't make me want to be around or communicate with people, and there was so much shame attached to it. There was also so much envy. Like, I would look at other people and I would be like, why did they get to have those features? Why were they born like that and I wasn't? And then on the flip side, I would get this severe guilt at times when I would see people or hear about people who were truly dealing with, you know, terrible distortions. You know, I had a friend who was burned and completely had their face just, I mean, a tragic, traumatic accident. And, you know, then I'm like, oh my God, here I am with kind of like champagne problems because I think my nose is too big for my face. And it's this back and forth that I've had for such a long time, but I also can't discount my own individual experience and how hard it was for me. And that also segued into these really dark feelings and then binge eating and, you know, series of feeling really depressed, but all of it really stemming from feeling so unwell in my own body and then having really low self-esteem. I think it's interesting for me with you because I've watched obviously your weight journey and you've also been in the public eye, but it seems as though that you've maintained a level of self-esteem throughout, that you can have these moments where you're like, I look bomb, what are you talking about? Like, that's not even in my ether. How did that develop for you?
I think that developed kind of as a self-protection mechanism because there were so many people coming for me. So many people from every walk of life, from people that mean the world to me to people that I don't know from Adam. And everyone is saying that I'm bigger. Or I remember going to school one day and I had this bomb Nike outfit on that I had just gotten from Nike. It was a little crop top, windbreaker material, baggy pants. I was pulling my Aaliyah. But I definitely had a tummy, right?
Okay.
And one of my friends, girl I chilled with every day, was like, you're too fat to wear that. And I was like, that was the first time that I like zipped up my jacket. It was like, but my friend is saying that to me, you know? And I knew that I was the bigger friend of all the skinny friends, like another one of my best friends, always skinny through life. And I knew that I was the bigger girl.
Yeah.
And so when I sat in my skin or my quote unquote role,
Yeah.
I created a confidence so that I wasn't considered weak.
Got it.
And with that came, well, I'm bomb, you can kiss my ass type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that really helped me, especially when I started doing That's So Raven and knowing that I'm in the public eye, being that role / model of the thicker being. But let's not get it twisted. Like, weight has always been an issue for me. It's always been in my mind, but I just turn on my switch to make sure that no one else hurts me more than I can hurt myself.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think, you know, something that's interesting too is like, I have heard your mom say things to you, like, you know, you're beautiful, and my mom says the same thing, but it seems like your mom also, her language about her own self models one of I'm fantastic, I'm chic, I'm this, positive affirmations about herself. Like, I didn't grow up in a household where there was positive affirmation being shown to me in that way. There was a lot of self-deprecation, a lot of tearing down, a lot of, oh, my butt's too big, I need to go on this diet. So the conversation was so circled around that. And then also, like, the people that I was growing up with, I won't name names, but I grew up with a now very famous model, people who were not the norm. So the comparison was so easy. And I was the normal, like, chubby 12-year-old who
Her
late
pictures were
bloomer,
so cute, super frizzy, curly hair, so adorable.
braces. Like,
You would have been friends, babe.
I know, for sure. Late bloomer kid who just, like, I wish I could talk to myself now. I would have been like, don't straighten your hair. Don't dye your hair. You'll figure out how to make your curly curls work. Like, stop picking at your face. I also had really bad acne. That was a thing.
Really?
Yeah. And thank God, I swear to God, there was like an angel up there who was like, I'm going to help and bless Miranda and make her blind to her own acne. As I look back at photos of it now, and I can't believe I left the house with my face.
Oh,
As severe as it was.
that's something that I believe the industry should help. When there is young girls with acne, with body dysmorphia, we need more role models in the public eye to let them know that it's okay. You should not hide in your house when you have it. It's not your fault. It is a chemical imbalance that you cannot change. You can help, but it's just who you are. And none of the role models that we have, I mean, now we're starting to really get into self-body image and things of that nature. But it really is a thing of, we have to change the narrative. You cannot shame yourself for something that you can't truly control. Acne comes from so many avenues. You know, yes, wash your face, make sure you have the good diet and all of that. But if you have acne, you got acne. And that's gonna happen to every human being on the planet.
But some people don't get acne. And that's the thing. And it's like,
Everybody gets a pimple. Everybody gets at least one pimple.
a pimple is so different than acne.
I know, but even like those who have, oh my god, I have a pimple, I can't, like, no.
Yeah, well, that's like, get over it. I'm talking about really bad, like, cystic acne, need Accutane medication intervention, like that really kind of, you know, changes your face. And that's really difficult. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, when you have somebody who, like my friend who gets burned, and I'm over here like, oh, my nose. Like, shut up. I gave so much power to these things and these thoughts, chasing a standard of beauty that honestly was constructed by the media and by a, you know, machine that isn't really real, because those people too that we will look at sometimes in society are so perfect. They're not. They're so, and it's amazing what glam does. It's amazing what happens when someone comes in and styles you. It's amazing.
I was at a friend's house, and I saw a really popular model come in, actress model, whatever. And I was like, is that? No.
I remember.
Totally different than what we've seen. And even when the conversation is, you know, hashtag no makeup, something's going on. Because I've seen you in no makeup, and you look like you ain't got no makeup on. Okay? That you don't look like in the pictures when you hashtag it. I just feel like there needs to be more transparency. There needs to be more transparency. There needs to be more understanding of body image is purely a constructed company's way of keeping you in pain and keeping you buying their products.
It's chasing something that you're never going to actually get. And it's wild now with like plastic surgery and how much people are either addicted to it or will spend on it to try and alter themselves. And I don't know, it's so interesting to me. It's like, why are we so unsatisfied? And I fall into some of that category where I mean, a lot of it, right? I've been so unsatisfied with my own physical appearance for such a long time. And ultimately, I have a healthy body, my body functions, I have a face that works.
You have a healthy-ish brain.
I have a healthy-ish brain. Yeah, right. I mean, we all have our things, right? Like,
and even those beautiful, quote-unquote beautiful supermodels, they have their thing. We just don't see it. And, you know, it's sad because to get over that hump, right? To really take your life in your own hands and find a way to love your body, that's the hardest thing to do.
And it's hard for me too, because even in like the industry, right, we have this movement now where you see plus size models and women who have honestly just normal shapes stepping out being like, I love my body and cool, I'm a size 10, like awesome, you're literally average. But there's also this catch, because if you take somebody, let's say like Lizzo, right? So she's a larger woman and she's been such a staple cheerleader for that community. People can see themselves in her. But at the same time, you're still super wealthy. You still have so many people controlling your image. You still have people there dressing you, helping you with your hair, glamming you up. So it's like even that image in and of itself is constructed. And when you look at plus size models, they typically have one thing in common, which is they all have slimmer / stunning faces. So it's not just like the average person ever. And I think that that's a frustrating thing. And to me too, there is, when you talk about like seeing that model actress, there's something in me that I almost get an angry feeling, because I'm like, yeah, people, this person you're oohing and awing over, and it's probably because I've been hurt by the situation time and time again, but the person that you're oohing and awing over is just a normal person who has like stubby thumbs and smells kind of weird. Like, what's the, not you, but like what's the deal? Like, why do we do this? I don't have an answer, but I just think that body image in general for women in particular has been just,
I don't know, babes. We're not a
crazy.
man. We're not a man, and I just want to speak up for all the men. Not that we are one, but I understand from the female perspective what it must feel like to see those Dolce & Gabbana commercials with them and there's little small little white, G-string bikinis. Dulce. Like, come on, bro.
are you talking about the man?
Yeah, I'm
Not
talking
even
about the
attractive to
men.
me.
It's super, super chiseled. Like, I can only imagine what the men think, because their bodies, one, they can lose weight faster than females. They gain muscle, but it's still creating that line and the chiseled and the here. It's like, I don't even know what y'all go through.
Okay, but there's that side of it. But
Remember when dad bod was a thing?
that's what I was just gonna say. The difference is that there are so many people who are average men, or men get older and they look even better. Women start becoming phased out when they reach a certain age. Women are supposed to have this eternal youth. So even if you are, let's say, you're like a Seth Rogen type of guy, okay? Because Seth Rogen isn't a chiseled Dolce & Gabbana model, but Seth Rogen...
Dad bod real.
Yeah, and people love that, and he's embraced for that, and it's like he's hilarious, and people, there's a whole style of
Human.
model girl that goes after that, where you see men sometimes and you're like, how did you get that girl? But it's because he's wealthy, he's funny, he's this, that, and the other. So men, of course, have issues, and I know men who have struggled with eating disorder and body image disorder, but it's societally easier to be a man in that world, and you see more reflections of it, like Chris Pratt coining dad bod, and Tom Hanks, for example. He's not a heartthrob, but Tom Hanks, you look at him and he's wholesome and comforting and can put on
but then you look at Jason Momoa and you're like, And you know what? I'm gonna say this. Maybe that happens because men rule the marketing and are mostly the ones sitting at the top. It's changing now, but if we were sitting at the top, if women ruled the majority of the entertainment industry, there might be leniency on actually accepting the female as she grows into her prime over 60. I mean, we are seeing a change. Let's not give credit. CoverGirl is doing an amazing job at really showcasing more age-appropriate people. You have multiple shows that are giving jobs to women of all ages and colors, and there is a paradigm shift happening, but we come from and know where it was. And
That's true.
And I feel like I'm a little bit stuck in that because I'm like, I remember when I sound like my mama. I remember when there was no mixed couples and it was only skinny people on television. And now it's like I look around and you have so many people of all different sizes really pushing that barrier forward and being more visible so that our younger generation can feel that way. I want to say one more thing because I think you brought up it earlier, which is so true. We have a lot of elementary school and middle school females and males and their idols are so much older than them. And when you have that, you want to be that. So I remember one of the staple sentences in the house is, don't be too grown. Stop being so grown. It's like, but I only watch grown people. So it's really hard to change that. Tell me.
No, it's just so true. Like, I wish I had had somebody to help me when I was younger. And who knows if I actually would have been able to understand or receive it. But I was idealizing and wanting to look like, 35-year-old women when I was 12 years old. I was watching Sex and the City, or I was hanging out with my mom and her friends and listening to these adult women, and I'm like, oh my God, there was no way I could have ever been even something close to that. And instead of trying to like develop my own self and find hobbies and what I liked and who I was in the world, I got caught up in all of the things I wasn't. And it was all circled around self-image, which was so sad and crazy. But I think that's so true. It's like, if you're trying to be something that you literally can't, you're gonna fail. You're just gonna be miserable too. It's so hard. It's so hard.
It's very hard. And so what I see now is a lot of the younger generation that they can look up to are really kind of over-sexualized at times, really being older than they should be because they have to compete with whoever else is on the carpet. And that's a hard thing. It's a vicious cycle. We want to be older than we are at a younger age, and we want to be younger than we are when we get to an older age. And that goes hand in hand with body image because, you have people who want to stuff their bra. You have people who want to get the butt pads, and it's like you're never happy with what you have.
And I wonder if body image, too, is just another aspect of what I like to talk about in terms of why we like the things we like. Like, I was never one who really wanted boobs, but then there are some girls who just want boobs, and if they have boobs, they'll have like made it. Or some people, I remember the thigh gap was like a huge thing in my like everyone wanted thigh gaps, and it's so funny how
I wanted to touch one.
Oh my God, what? Your hand would go right through. That's a thigh gap.
That's why I wanted to touch it.
I just wonder like how these things come to be and what. I don't know. Again, I don't know the answers. But in terms of where you are today with your body image, how do you feel about yourself and your image?
The image that I'm having right now, my self-image, the person that I see in the mirror, I have some work to do. Not because I'm trying to fit a certain look. It's because I know that the problem areas that I have, for instance, my tummy and my thighs, are holding on to weight that is not healthy for me. And once I see that kind of shift, I'll feel happy about that. You know what I mean? Like, I had a hump on my back because I was stressed out and all that. I wanted that gone. But again, people ask me, what's your goal weight? What's that look? I'm like, I don't have one. I know the different markers in my body that I want to make disappear, and that's it. Do I feel pretty? I feel very sexy when I need to. Am I fitting the clothes that I want to wear? As soon as I lose these little pieces, then I'll be able to fit into that style that makes me happy. And hopefully me taking my role model self out of the picture and just working for me will hopefully help someone else. Because I think that's really important. If you want to be an advocate for something, you first have to be happy.
Yeah.
You first have to be self-aware.
Totally.
And know your flaws, know your positives, know how you got there so that you can appropriately and truthfully lead others. Not yesterday, just today. How do you feel about your body?
I feel good. I mean, you only want me to answer for today. I feel fine today.
Did you think about your body today?
No. I mean, I don't think in that way anymore. Like, I don't think where it's really today, yesterday, whatever. Like, I could say, ooh, we went to this event and I got dressed up and I felt really pretty and I had makeup on, like when we went to the Space Jam premiere. That's locked in my head as a good feeling day. In general, nowadays, I've done a lot of work in terms of accepting my body. There are always the same things that come up, though.
Like what? Your face. Not anymore.
Yeah, my face still comes up at times, not like it did before. Nowadays, it's more like my hair.
Right.
So I really struggle with my hair. I really struggle with my hairline. I feel a lot of self-consciousness around that. But the other things that used to really throw me off, like normal bloating or just waking up a little bit more puffy because you haven't slept well, or, not working out for a day, like those things don't affect me as much as they
That never
did
happens. You
before.
work out every day, babe.
No, I don't. And sometimes I do different things, or sometimes I take rest days, but movement for me is enjoyable. I feel stronger and better in my body, and my attachment to how and when I need to work out has shifted. But I don't work out for anything other than pleasure. And because it's health, and that is movement every day is
It's
good
healthy.
for us.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, I feel like saying just today, well, today is the same as yesterday was for me.
Well, today in my body, I was a little sad today in my body, I'll be honest with you. Just checking in on today. I'm skinnier than this outfit portrays. And I didn't like it. But I haven't bought any new clothes yet, so.
Clothes that fit well makes such a huge difference. That's
Yeah.
something I'm learning too. Like, when you wear something that fits you, you feel better in your body.
Yeah, you feel better.
Who knew? Not me.
Well, if you guys have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We love having these conversations, and we should keep the conversation going. Do you have problems with body dysmorphia or body image? Do you have a story that you want to tell that maybe can help others? How do you feel about your body today? Let us know in the comments. We love you all. Babe's gonna finish her taco salad.
Love yourself. That's really, you know, I think it's a continued journey to self-acceptance, loving yourself and appreciating and having gratitude. Gratitude really helps.
That's proper.